give him all the credit in the world. I never thought he'd actually do it, and he did. To me, it doesn't really matter if he can retire 25 times and come back 26. I personally don't like it because I think Deontay Wilder's damaged goods, but I understand the reasoning for it.
Right, welcome back to Fight Lens and Press Insights. We've travelled up to Liverpool for our first exclusive interview of the year 2026 with the bomber Tony Bellew. Tony, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Always a pleasure, champ. I'm good. Little bit of timber put on over Christmas. I've enjoyed the festive period with my family and me and everybody, my friends. So yeah.
Yeah. New year, new you.
I don't know about new me, but
dry January.
I'll be trying to get back to the old me by getting a bit of weight off. Yes.
Fair play. You're looking good though. You're looking good. Let's talk about the boxing at the weekend, shall we? Dalton Smith.
Wow.
He was the underdog going into the fight against Subriel Matias, but came through with a stunning knockout victory. You don't sound like you were too surprised because you're a big fan of Dalton Smith. No,
I'm a big fan of Dalton Smith. I've known of his qualities for quite some time now. I remember him turning professional. He turned professional alongside a lad who I was looking after called Thomas Whittaker-Hart, who were both part of the GB setup. Dalton Smith is a really, really good fighter, very well-rounded, technically outstanding, has power in either hand. He's not one big punch knockout artist, but he has a considerable amount of power. Nobody in the world is going to walk through Dalton Smith.
No way.
And that's one of his greatest assets. After that, I think of all of his assets, which he has a number of them, I think his greatest asset is his timing. He's not the quickest, he's not the strongest, he's not the sharpest, but his timing is perfect.
Yeah, you saw that in the knockout win, wasn't it?
He takes his opportunities. He doesn't second guess himself, he doesn't question himself. When he's up close, he's willing to throw, he's willing to trade. And we've seen that against Subriel Matias. Matias we'd seen beaten previously by Liam Paro, but we'd not seen him beat up and roughed up like this. And Dalton Smith showed a number of things in this fight. He showed that he can come through a cut. He showed that he can come through, fights against serious punches, world-renowned punches, and that he can do it now at the highest level. And I think that just makes Dalton Smith an unbelievably hard person to beat.
Yeah.
Because I don't really see any weaknesses in Dalton Smith. The only weakness that I would say, if I was lining up to fight Dalton Smith, I would say you've got to see him fight at a crazy paced fight. One of them wars that lasts for 12 rounds and it's non-stop back and forth. But as I said before, he dictates the pace because his timing is so good. And that's what people fail to realise and recognise. This is why nobody can push him out of his comfort zone. Because every time you want to step into his zone or anytime you want to step into his space, the timing allows him to nail you on the way in or on the way out. And he's so patient, really good defence. So yeah, I've always been impressed with Dalton. I spoke to Ed on the day of the fight and the day before actually. And he was like, this is a genuine 50-50. He's really, I said, Dalton Smith is a far better boxer than Liam Paro. And I said, and he'll show it. He will show it. You've got to understand that when he goes into a world title fight of that kind of magnitude, the WBC, the green and gold belt, is the belt that all the major fighters dream of holding. Yeah. It's the one that they want. It's the one that's, immortalised amongst the likes of, your Sugar Ray Leonard, we see him holding it above his head, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather's, all of these legendary great fighters, we see them holding that green and gold belt. And Dalton, very similar to myself, will have looked at that belt over the years and looked at the icons who have held it. Sure. And that's been a lifelong dream come true for him on Saturday night, it really was.
Definitely well earned. The most prestigious belt, and now he joins the long list of world champions from Sheffield.
Yeah.
Some very prestigious names on there: Prince Nassim Hamed, Kell Brook, Kid Galahad, Johnny Nelson, Clinton Woods, all going all the way back to quite a few. So fair play to him, great win. And do you think being the away fighter kind of made him feel like he needed to be more dynamic in that fight and not let it go to the judges? Maybe just look to finish it early like he did.
I just think. I don't even think he goes in looking for the knockouts. I just think he wants to put it on Subriel Matias and find out what's in his heart. And I listened to some of the comments before the fight and what Subriel Matias said, and he was saying, "I'm going to draw the bitch out in you." That's what he said, and he said that. And I think some of his fans who were there were goading Matias, and he didn't like it. And I think Dalton's gone out there with a point to prove. No, you're not going to take me to any kind of place that I haven't been before. And the way he addressed it from the first bell, right into that fifth round, it was just, he was phenomenal. It was a faultless display. and I thought he was exceptional on the night. Brilliant game plan. Him and his father, Grant Smith, I give them so much credit, because Grant Smith's been his trainer from a child all the way up, and I've seen Dalton Smith go in various places, learning off different coaches and doing different techniques with different times, and it lets me know that Grant Smith is very comfortable in his own skin. A lot of coaches are pretentious, and if they see their fighter doing stuff with other trainers, going somewhere and learning bits from other coaches, because not one coach knows it all. So if you can allow your fighter to go around other gyms and experiment and learn little bits of other people, then I think that's a fantastic strength to have as a coach, because they're so, the word I'm looking for, coaches can be so possessive and protective at times, and it's like, do you think it's their way or no other way? And they have to understand that a fighter gets one opportunity and one chance, and if one coach doesn't know everything, that means at some stage he has to move. But what Grant Smith has allowed Dalton to do is learn in other places, learn with other coaches, bring other coaches in at times, and I think that's a great strength to have, and I give Grant Smith and Dalton Smith all the credit in the world. It's a fantastic partnership, one that works. I don't know how his father and son they cope together so much, but listen, it works.
Anyone that's ever worked with their father, they know how difficult it can be.
It can be very difficult. I've worked alongside my father a number of times, so it's I give them all the credit in the world, and they've got what they deserve. And Grant Smith, like I said before, fantastic coach. This is the guy who made Sonny Edwards what he is, got him to world title challenger and world champion. And now he's done the same with his son, so fair play to him. I wish them the very best going forward.
Sure, brilliant credit to both of them. And looking forward now, Adam Azim is kind of waiting in the wings. That fight that you can see they'll be eyeing up, thinking all British affair.
I think
sells well.
One thing that I think it does prove is it was right to wait. So everyone questions, should they wait, should they not wait? I think it's the right thing now it's to wait. Let this be a unification match. Let Adam Azim go and win a world title. And then bring them together for a huge unification. I think it'll be a fascinating match. I think Adam Azim reminds me, and people will say this because of his heritage and his mixture, but he does remind me of Amir Khan. Simply, purely for the speed of his hands. Amir Khan's got the fastest hands I've ever seen and witnessed. He's got the fastest hands I think that Britain's ever seen. I think the only person that can compare to him with one punch shot speed is Floyd Mayweather. I've never seen speed like Amir's. It's rapid. He can throw a 10-punch combination in the space of a second and a half, 2 seconds.
Hands are just a blur.
It's just rapid, and I see similar to that in Adam Azim. The only other person I can see who comes close to him is Ryan Garcia when it comes to out-and-out hand speed. So I think when you talk about that, and you talk about the hand speed, and then you talk about Dalton Smith's timing, it very much reminds me of the fight that happened between Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest. And timing beats speed, only if it's used correctly. But I think Adam Azim has got a very, very smart trainer in Shane McGuigan. And as I said before, I think Dalton Smith's got a very good coach in Grant Smith. So it could be a battle of the game plans, it could be a battle of who wants it more. I don't know, but that fight does fascinate me. Based on form and based on victories and who's done what, I would edge towards Dalton Smith. But that's quite obvious. Everyone would edge towards Dalton Smith right now, as the bookies would after that superb win over Sabrina Matisse.
But a great fight, and hopefully we do get to see it one day. With Dalton Smith joining the ranks of current British champions, world champions, which Brit do you think will win a belt by the end of the year? We asked George Groves this the other day, and maybe I'll mention who he came up with after.
Okay, who will win a world title before the end of the year?
British fighter to win a world champion next.
I would have said Callum Smith, but the light heavyweight titles seem to be a bit trapped at the minute.
They are, aren't they? But under lockdown.
I'm not sure if they become free. Callum Smith will win a world title at light heavyweight. Outside of that, we've got a number of good fighters on the peripheral edge. I mean, we've had recently just made one as in Jazza Dickens. He would have been my first pick had he have not been done.
Shout out to Jazza Dickens.
An amazing career. He's done unbelievably well to turn it round the way he has.
Absolutely.
Who do I think is the next world champion from the UK? I'm trying too soon, Jess, and I think the belts are tied up.
Who was that, Jess?
Moses Itauma.
I think
the belts are tied up, and unless, I mean, are you gonna, if Moses goes out there and beats, let's just say, is anyone classing Gassiev as a world champion?
No, I don't think we can say
I
that
don't,
officially.
but I personally don't for knocking out Pulev, but on paper they're going to say he is, because the WBA has 2 champions, a regular champion and a world champion. So if Itauma would wipe the floor with Gassiev tomorrow.
Yeah, of course.
But, you know.
Well, the people have been saying that Tyson Fury will be eyeing up Gassiev as a way of getting himself back into the picture and getting a belt, and then maybe looking to challenge Usyk after that, or whoever it goes.
Potentially, but then Usyk has the belt, the real belt at that.
The proper one.
So, I mean, the only other world champion who I can give credit to, and a credible world champion in the heavyweight division, apart from obviously the brilliant Usyk, is Fabio Wardley, because he went out there, he done a job on Joseph Parker against all the odds, and he's done job and job again on undefeated fighters and fighters who are far ahead of him in the rankings. He's the only one. I'm still trying to think to answer your question.
It's all right. There's no rush.
The next world champion from the UK.
Well, there's someone that keeps getting kind of put into final eliminators, and now he's looking like he's on the verge of it. Hamza Shiraz. But he
was his last one for the interim?
Was that the last one?
Did he face Belanga for the interim?
Edgar Belanga, yeah. I think it was, yeah. So he's on the verge. WBO, WBC, they keep making fights. But
I think the biggest thing is who's the champion, and when you've got Bud Crawford who owns all the belts. I know he's just been one.
Well, that's it, yeah.
But ultimately, if you want to look at champions and they're going to fragment the belt, so obviously within the super middleweight division, they're all, Terence Crawford's now shown he doesn't care, he said he's retired, so all them belts are up for grabs. So obviously a super middleweight division is up for grabs, but
do you not classify as that as officially, if you're not beating a champion for the belts, then it's kind of like it's a star asterisk next to your name, isn't it?
It's hard, because unless you're facing the #1 contender. I mean, listen, I was stuck in that position. I wanted to fight for the WBC title. I became mandatory challenger at light heavyweight, got all the way there, outgrown the weight. And then at cruiserweight, I went through the rankings, went through all of the bodies, became European champion at cruiserweight, and then wanted to go in with Gregory Droz. Gregory Droz declared himself unfit to fight for 2 years, unfortunately. And then Alunga Makabu, who'd been waiting for 18 months to get his world title fight, was basically placed in there as champion. But I was told he's got to fight me, who was the #3 contender, but the #1 contender fights the #3 contender for a vacant title. So, don't get me wrong, he went on to become champion as well, like Alunga Makabu, after I'd knocked him out. But it's hard. People will always question, especially with the shout of vacant titles and stuff like that. But in my opinion, as long as you've got the top 5 contenders facing against each other, the top 3 to 5. I mean, when anyone faces each other from 1 to 3, you know it's serious. You're dealing with the top of the ladder.
For sure.
And it's really, really hard. So I'm not sure, but yeah, Hamza Shiraz, that's a good shout. I can see him winning one. I'm missing someone, and it's going to pain me.
You can always come back to it later if the name pops into your head.
It's the weight division that I'm thinking of, and then it'll come back to me. See, we've got Nick Ball. Nick Ball and Jazza Dickens, by the way, would be a great fight. It'll come to me.
It'll come. All right, well, the disappointing news that Moses Itauma's fight has been postponed with Jermaine Franklin until early March. So, Tony, when the fight comes around, how are you looking at that? Do you think Jermaine Franklin will be able to, maintain his? Well, he's a very durable fighter. Yeah. He's never been stopped. Can Moses Itauma be the first to stop him?
I think it's all about, if Moses Itauma goes out there and wants rounds, he'll get them. If Moses Itauma wants to go out there and put his name amongst the lights and say, I want to knock this guy out, I want to be the first to knock him out, he will. Yeah. Moses Itauma's more than good enough to knock out Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin's a good competitive fighter, competent fighter, very, very tough, very, very sound defensively. Not the biggest of punches, doesn't really bring a great appetite to actually win. He's not going to work here and get stuck into you. It's usually the odd pot shot counter here and there.
Yeah. Spoiling a bit.
Yeah, he's spoiled. But listen, he does a job. And for fighters who keep knocking people out, he's the guy you go to get rounds.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it all depends on Moses Itauma. If he wants rounds, he'll get them. If he doesn't, he'll end it. I think he'll stop him probably about 5 or 6. I just think probably enough. A mercy stoppage. I think the referee will jump in and go, listen, enough's enough. I don't see him being on the floor, knocking him out in any way, shape or form. No. But I do see him just keep peppering him, stunning him, and then probably mercy stoppage on his feet.
Disappointing for everyone that's bought tickets for the fight up in Manchester, isn't it? Hopefully they'll get another opponent in. I don't know what the plan is.
It's Moses who's got the little injury. He's got the niggle. So I think, as I said, it's being put to March. A little delay.
Not the end of the world.
And I think they'll keep the bill the same, really.
Okay, so the whole bill will be just postponed back to March,
just
won't it?
postponed back to March.
Okay, well, Tyson Fury announced that his latest retirement has now been reversed. I think this might be the 5th or 6th time. No one's ever particularly surprised, but...
I've lost count.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I'm happy to see him back. The most important thing is we see Tyson Fury with boxing gloves on.
Exactly, yeah.
And then that means the lad's happy. He's doing it for the right reasons. The last thing I ever want to do is tune into the news or turn into social media and see Tyson Fury struggling or he's with depression or stuff like that. When he's in a boxing gym, he seems to be happy.
That's it,
To me, it doesn't really matter if he can retire 25 times and come back 26.
Seeing him active is good news for the boxing world in general, isn't it? For sure.
Listen, he creates headlines.
Yeah.
And he says some extremely controversial stuff, but the boy can fight.
Definitely.
There's no two ways about it. When he gets in a boxing ring, we're all going to want to see
him. Who will he be eyeing up? This is the question, because surely Fabio, Wardley or something like that, so it's a risky fight for him to take, isn't it? So is it a Gassiev or a Pulev type level fighter for him to just get the ring rust off before looking maybe at AJ in the future, but we don't know.
Listen, I seen a list created the other day of possible opponents to come back for Tyson Fury.
Did you? Yeah, okay.
And the list of opponents that I've seen, and I might be wrong with a couple, but I know definitely 2 that were on them. So they said Adja Caballel.
Oof, that's a dangerous.
They said Fabio Wardley.
Also dangerous.
I think Jarrell Miller might have been one.
Okay.
No, I've just put Jarrell Miller in there. He wasn't one. That would be a good one.
It would be, yeah.
Andy Ruiz would be a good comeback opponent.
Yes.
Gassiev was mentioned in there. There was about 5 of them, but 2 of them, as I said, one was Caballel and one was Fabio Wardley.
Caballel looked good recently though, didn't he? I can't see that.
He's easy to hit, but I really do like Caballel.
Surprised he hasn't had a world title fight yet? Like,
I'm not, because no one's going to want to fight him unless he's got something.
He's like the dark horse, isn't he?
He's someone, he's a heavyweight that does things unlike other heavyweights. He goes to body, he's constantly on you, he's got a very high work rate. And that's what, when you're looking to match your opponent and your styles, for heavyweights out there, and if you're a good matchmaker and you're a good manager, you go, I don't need him.
Yeah.
What do I need him for?
That's true.
He's going to be on my chest constantly, working me in and out. And he's got a good set of whiskers on him, a good chin, so you're just like, that doesn't make sense.
Not worth the hassle yet. No, true.
Don't get me wrong, Caballel seems to now be a draw in Germany.
Yeah.
That was a big German crowd, big atmosphere he's generated there, so I think he's found a home for himself, but ultimately he needs more stringent tests now going forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley, is that a kind of fight that just seems to be the perfect match when we can make it happen, or do you think Fabio won't want such a tough test for his first defence of his title?
I don't think Fabio will care.
Fabio
would just be like, show me the money. Fabio's at that stage of his career, he's been wrote off that many times, and he's been the underdog on so many occasions that he'll now go in and think, I don't really care, I'm the champion. He's rose above the levels that anyone could have envisioned.
True. Absolutely.
He's been absolutely fantastic. I've wrote him off on a number of occasions and he's defied the odds. I thought he'd lose against Joseph Parker. I'm trying to think of the fight before Joseph Parker.
It was the Romanian, was it?
No.
He had him on the ropes and then he was losing on points.
Justice Hooney.
That's it,
the Aussie kid.
That's it.
And he was way behind on points. And then cops him with a big right hand. I didn't think he'd lose against Justice Hooney, but I did think he'd be getting outboxed. So my prediction, I'm sure with you guys, was he'll be getting outboxed. He may land the big one, but he may not. Justice Hooney's a very competent amateur, something that Fabio Wardley has never been. And then against Joseph Parker, I thought he'd just know too much. And he looked like he did know too much just before he got stopped, but then, he gets caught with a heavy shot.
Seems to be a recurring story with Fabio, doesn't it?
You have to understand that when you're undefeated, you have a certain belief and a certain desire, and it never goes away. Until you lose for the first time, you feel like nobody can defeat you. And no matter how late it can be in a fight, no matter what's going on, you just have, I don't want to say cocky, you just have this aura about you. And I remember when I faced Owen McKenzie, And at the time I was 12-0 or 13, no, I think I was 14-0. And he comes out first round, he hits me with a right hand over the top, he drops me. Second round comes out, he hits me with an absolute monster, drops me flat on my face. And I have no right to get up.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But I get up, and if that would have been maybe 3 or 4 more fights in my career after I suffered my first loss, I might have been questioning myself, thinking, can I do this, can I do it? Because I'd never lost at that stage in my career, I just bounced up.
Yeah,
I just bounced up, looked at
didn't know the feeling of
losing. You just don't know what defeat means, and you are willing to go through. But it's not so much you're willing to go through brick wall; it's just that your mental mindset will go through anything, not to lose. And I think that's where Fabio Wardley's at. No matter what's going on, he could be losing 11 rounds. He could be going into the 12th round and have lost every single round. And his mental mindset will not flitter, will not flinch a single second.
He'll still be believing that he's got that one punch
Yes.
KO in him, even
because
in 12,
he's
10
shown
seconds to go. Yeah, it's true.
He's shown it time and time again. So this is why Fabio Wardley is probably the most dangerous heavyweight in the world.
It's interesting because David Haye was asked for his top 5 heavyweights of all time. He didn't have Mike Tyson in the list.
Wow.
And his logic was kind of the opposite to what Fabio Wardley does. Mike Tyson never come back from being down on the card to win a fight. So he actually said, I find it hard to say someone's in the top 5 of all time if they've never had a fight which they were losing and then they came back to win. But he didn't need to a lot of the times because he obviously finished the fights early doors, but then once his career started tailing off, you could see I
just think Mike Tyson's prime was so short-lived. I believe Mike Tyson in his absolute prime is probably one of the best fighting machines I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The hand speed, the coordination, the head movement, the defense, the power, it's just a complete package as a heavyweight. I've never seen any heavyweight do what he could do.
Yeah,
not at the speed and the timing and the way he could move, the angles he'd create. I've never seen. I understand and get David's point. No, how can you have a fight? But I don't weigh up a mentality and a mindset because we don't know what's in his mindset.
Yeah, and the outside of the ring, traumas and things like that.
You can never weigh that up. What I can weigh up is his attributes. And when I weigh up his attributes and the best version of him, he's definitely a top 5 heavyweight in my opinion because, you know, you have to look at it. When I've looked at the likes of Lennox Lewis, and Lennox for me is possibly the greatest heavyweight ever.
Prime Lennox and prime Mike Tyson. I mean, what a fight it would have been, unfortunately.
I think the styles are all wrong for Mike, and Lennox is so diligent and professional and has such a good game plan, you know. I remember studying Lennox as a kid and thinking, you have absolutely everything. And I remember his greatest asset that he has is his boxing brain. But then, probably his greatest flaw is he's too patient.
Right.
Manny Stewart, I remember slapping him on the chest in certain fights. The Mike Tyson fight, go and get rid of this guy before he clocks you with something. And that was his only knock I can give him, is he was too patient. But
only flaw, yeah.
I think he'd been hurt in the past, and it made him cautious. Every fighter has scars. It's like Anthony Joshua. I think the version of Anthony Joshua that blew through the heavyweights and knocked out Vladimir Klitschko was the best version of Anthony Joshua because he had zero regard for what was coming back. He didn't care.
That's right.
But once you do get something back and once you do get them scars, they affect you for the rest of your career. And now we see a version of Anthony Joshua that is patient, boxes, tries to break you down when that's really not his greatest asset.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm saying fighters evolve and change. It's not that it's this version of Anthony Joshua or it's this version of Lennox. They've just evolved.
Yeah.
They've learned from the mistakes, they've learned from the setbacks, and that was what Lennox done. Lennox learned, you know, from the Oliver McCall knockout loss. And then when complacency did set in again, it bites him on the ass again.
Azim Rahman, yeah, absolutely.
But then he addresses it, he comes back and he deals with both the losses to both the guys. You know, Lennox Lewis is probably one of the very few fights in the world you can say I've defeated every man I've been in the ring with.
Yeah. Every defeat was then made good in the rematch, to be fair.
Unbelievable, like I said, you know. And I get that and I understand it. I've defeated every man I've been in the ring with apart from 2 Ring magazine belt holders, 2 lineal champions, and Adonis Stevenson and Oleksandr Usyk. Nice. The rest of them I've defeated every single person I've faced, but it's at these highest levels where Lennox was able to come back and defeat the highest levels as well. So you've just got to weigh it up. And top 5 heavyweights of all time, wow. Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson. Joe Frazier, and probably George Foreman.
I thought maybe George would get in there, yeah.
I'd have Oleksandr Usyk maybe in there before Frazier.
Okay. Great,
but I don't know, it's a talking point and it's a sticking point, but people won't like me putting Oleksandr Usyk in there because what they say is his body of work. Well, his body of work is he's defeated men nearly twice the size of him.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's come from cruiserweight and absolutely torn apart a heavyweight division. And people can tell me it's as weak as all as they want, but Tyson Fury would compete in any heavyweight era.
No, for sure.
Anthony Joshua would compete in any heavyweight era. Oleksandr Usyk would be able to beat almost any heavyweight that's ever lived.
He's cleaned out the division and now he's looking for opponents. He's talking about Deontay Wilder just to add to the resume. But it's a fight that I think a lot of people in America are quite interested to see.
I personally don't like it because I think Deontay Wilder's damaged goods, but I understand the reasoning for it. He was avoided for many years, Deontay Wilder. But you have to understand, he's now been defeated and beaten off far lesser fighters than Oleksandr Usyk.
4 defeats in his last 6 fights.
And I just think he's his time is overspent in boxing. Don't get me wrong, I do still think he's the single biggest puncher in the world right now. I do still think he's got the biggest punch in the heavyweight division. But he lacks belief in himself.
Yeah, I think the killer instinct has faded away, unfortunately, it's sad to say. But you never know, he could get it back. He's going through a divorce at the moment. He seems quite angry about that, doesn't he?
I didn't even know about that. So yeah, listen, like I said, as a human being, I think he's a great fella. I've met him, had a chat with him. But as a fighter, I don't believe that hunger and desire is still there. And it's so hard to get that back. It doesn't matter. Money does not incentivize or make Deontay Wilder better. It ain't about money, it's about legacy. He's a one-trick pony. He's always been a one-trick pony. Absolutely. But it's a fucking hell of a trick.
Yeah.
And if that trick lands, you just wake up. Like, you don't know what's happened, you just wake up.
Right.
Could he land that trick on Oleksandr Usyk? Yes. Do I think he will? Absolutely not, no. But it is a hell of a trick.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, someone who got hit with the one-trick pony, well, not really, but Jake Paul, obviously, he ran away for about 6-7 rounds. Then Anthony Joshua finally caught up with him, broke his jaw. But does he get any credit from you, Tony Bellew, for surviving that long?
Yes, he does get a lot of credit. He got in there with Anthony Joshua with 10 ounce gloves on. Gets all the credit in the world.
Takes a lot of balls to do that.
It takes serious bollocks. I give him all the credit in the world. Don't get me wrong, he's been very well paid for doing it.
Yeah.
Was it a circus? Absolutely. But I give him all the credit in the world. I never thought he'd actually do it, and he did.
Yeah.
So I just, listen, I'm the first, I'll hold my hands up and say, well done, good on you. Just try fighting someone at your level. Because
this is it,
my greatest worry was he got really hurt. Now, I know people will say, well, he did get really hurt, a broken jaw. It could have been far worse. Could have been far worse.
Yeah.
I think Josh wanted rounds, went in, fiddled with him, played with him. I mean, when you see the shot that finishes him, it's the jab to the chest that he doesn't even anticipate or see. He's constantly looking at Josh's right hand, and his hands are low.
Right.
And he's constantly thinking, just stay away from that right hand, stay away from that right hand. And he doesn't realise what the jab to the chest has done. The jab to the chest has put him in a place where he can't get away from the right hand. So instead of thinking just about this, you better watch this, because this is what sets up this.
Right.
And as he jabs the chest, it knocks him into this position. And because when he jabs here, it opens up this.
Yep.
And as it opens it up, bang, if he'd have stayed completely side on and kept coming away anti-clockwise, he wouldn't have been caught by that jab. It would have just scraped off the shoulder. But by being in this position and on the ropes, the jab knocks you and it squares you up. And the minute he gets squared up, Josh just leans in.
Eyes light up and bam.
And that was all
Game over.
It was a heavy right hand. Listen, I give him so much credit. He got knocked down. I mean, I didn't like the fact he was holding onto his legs and going down every couple of minutes. He tried to claim a bit of a dodgy knee at one stage. I'm just happy he did man up. He took his punishment like a man. Yep. And he took the beating. Fair play to him. I can't give him anything but credit.
Fair play.
And as for Anthony Joshua, he done what every other fighter in the world would do.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
He said he just broke him down mentally, took the money, and then now
just fair play. There's not a fighter in the world. All of these fighters coming out in labour and leathering them and whinging and moaning and complaining. every one of you would do it for a quarter of what he done it for.
Yeah,
every one of you would do it for a tenth of what he done it for.
Absolutely.
Never mind the actual amount.
Yeah.
A tenth of what he done it for, you'd all do it for. So please, fighters, stop labeling them, stop leathering them. You'd have bit your hand off and done it all day, and twice on a Sunday.
You know, I was watching a few clips of yourself on SAS Who Dares Wins back in the day, and you said then that you'd never write a book. It wasn't something that interested you, but I wondered whether you'd changed your stance on that in the years since then, and because you must have had plenty of offers from.
No, so I'd done a book, but it wasn't an autobiography.
Yeah.
It was basically talking about how I'd got through boxing. Would I do a book now personally? Well, I've lived a bit more and I've seen a lot more, and I think if I was to do a book, yes, it'd be something personal to me about, I think I can relate a lot more now to retirement and finishing boxing and the place that you're in and how difficult it can be. One day you're a fighter and you wake up on Monday morning and you're not.
Yeah, and that's hard to.
And then you're like, that's hard to process, that's hard to do, and how I've managed to get through it and still struggle to figure out what you're doing and what your purpose is in life. It's hard, but I think I'm in a better place now to give a bit more advice on it and figure things out. So yeah, potentially, but as I said, the one that got wrote, I didn't even get to pick the name. They picked.
Really?
Yeah, the publishers picked the name.
I see.
It was, what's it called? Don't know what you're going to do until you get punched in the face. Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah, classic.
And it's Joe Lewis's saying, to be honest. It's not even mine. Mike Tyson borrowed the phrase. I've borrowed the phrase, but we all borrowed it off the great brown bomber Joe Louis. So, yeah, there's a book out there, but is it a recollection or an autobiography by me about my life? No. It's more of the struggles I faced in boxing, how I got through them. And that's it really.
We'll put a link in the bio. We'll put a link in the bio if you want to go and have a look at the book. But
there's a lot more to life than
watch
boxing.
This space. That's true. Watch this space. Maybe we'll see a Tony Bellew autobiography in the future. Okay. Quick mention for Andy Cruz, who's fighting on January 24th against Raymond Muratella. You're a big fan. How far can he go? Can he become the next British world champion?
The Cuban is sensational. You worry with Cubans because I think I've seen the best Cuban in the last few decades in Yuriorkis Gamboa, and he's the best one I've seen. But Andy Cruz, I think he might have the discipline that Gamboa lacks, and I think that might be the difference. I think he'll be the next world champion that we'll see.
Yeah.
Andy Cruz, I think he wins that fight. He's exceptional. There's nothing he can't do. Skillful, slick. Got enough power to keep it off. Similar to Dalton Smith, the timing is his key.
Okay.
He's very, very good. Other fighters fighting for world titles. We've got Josh Kelly against Miralatsayev, or how you pronounce it, I don't know.
Name,
but I'll work it out by next Saturday when I'm reporting on it.
That's it. January 24th.
So yeah, there's really good fights, and there's a number of world champions. I think future world champions, Pat Brown is one that I think will win a world title. I think at cruiserweight he's a force.
Yeah.
And he's not getting any younger. He's had a very extensive amateur career. He's got two fantastic trainers in Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis, a good manager in Sam Jones. They know the route they want to take, and he's persistent, and he's active, and he's busy. These are all ticking off things that tick off in the right way.
Yeah.
So I do think Pat Brown will win one. Josh Kelly's going up soon for the world title fight on the 31st of January, which I'm working in Newcastle. So that's a really hard fight he's got, but it's a really good fight.
Yeah, great
so
fight.
That'll be a good one. And yeah, so the prospects for our British fighters look really good.
2026 could be the year where it just explodes, isn't it?
It could, and Matchroom could have a number of world champions. As I said, hopefully. At the moment we've got quite a few, but I think there'll be more on the roster by the time we get to summer.
No doubt.
You've got to look at, they've got Dalton Smith now. They've already got Boots Ennis, who's looking now to make this fight with Virgil Ortiz. So there's a number of fighters that they've got, and they're flying.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Lowering the tone slightly, did you catch Andrew Tate's boxing match against Chase Demore? He was defeated on points.
I've seen a clip on social media.
What's the Bomber's verdict on?
He's not a boxer, is he?
Well, he's a kickboxer, really.
And neither
is
the other fella, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
So
must have been a bit.
It wasn't the greatest watch, but as for Tate, I mean, you can't knock him. He's driven such a big platform, hasn't he? And he's obviously a big name, and all I ever hear him talk about is money. You know, I think he said he's a billionaire the other day.
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure he said he's a billionaire. And I for the life of me, can't understand why if you was a billionaire, you'd want to get punched in the face.
Well, that's true, yeah. I mean,
I just don't get it, but it's quite obvious he loves to challenge himself.
Yeah,
fair play to him. I seen a bit of the fight, but I mean, listen, in that misfits region and world, I think the person to fight and the name amongst them and them kind of weight classes, Darren Till.
I'd
like to see if that Chase Demore fights Darren Till.
Okay, yeah.
Because Darren's a big lump.
Yeah.
And then outside that, they have got a misfits fighter who I think can do really good things, and that is Ty Mitchell.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I think Ty Mitchell has so much ability and so much untapped capability when it comes to how he can rise through the ranks. He could actually be the first misfits proper champion.
Could be, that's true. He's
I
shown
think
a lot.
I think he's got a lot of ability. The last fight out, he had to go through some difficult moments. And as I said to him, figuring your way through 10-round fights, 8-round fights, it's hard for the first time. So he's learning with every step that he takes. So yeah, I enjoy the misfit stuff now. I used to think it was stupid and it was a joke, but something I do enjoy.
Yeah, it's growing on you.
They've created a bit of a brand, and listen, don't get me wrong, there is some silly joke things that that's not for me. But when it comes to actual boxing, I can see the fighters progressing. Like say, Darren Till's progressing nicely.
Yeah, really has.
Everyone wants to see him on Carl Froch, obviously.
But
for me, it's madness. But Darren's coming along nicely.
He is, isn't he?
I want to see him back out there again as soon as possible, and with a decent challenger.
Yeah. All right, next question. This is a question I saw Conor Benn, I think Carl Froch asked it to Conor Benn, who are the top 3 biggest knobheads in boxing? And Conor said, well, I used to think it was you, to Carl, but
okay, now.
I mean, it's one that's up for debate, isn't it? There's a few out there. But,
okay.
So you need to choose one?
I don't know. You know what? Me.
No,
so
well.
I get enough stick from all the, according to social media and your Twitter followers,
trolls.
I've beat no one. I'm not very good. I'm crap. But like I just say, guys, if I'm that bad, tell me when you see me.
I bet they don't.
I'm not hard to find.
No.
But as for the others, I don't really dislike anyone.
That's good.
So I just don't like.
About when you're at your angriest back in the day, was there anyone that really got
back in the day, yeah.
Obviously, we know.
I mean, me and Nathan Cleverly just didn't get on. I'm never ever going to like the boy, but I would never wish any bad on him. And I've got nothing bad to say about him. Actually, I wish him well. I hope he's doing all right.
Good, that's nice.
I just think it's unfair and unkind to say, like, that's the biggest knobhead in boxing.
Yeah, I don't mean it in that kind of jokey way. It's not really serious, is it?
It's littered with them. What I don't like is false people. And there's so many false people within the boxing realm. I mean, there's so many people now claiming to be coaches, PTs. Boxing is a crazy sport. It's the only place in the world where you go and get yourself a set of pads from Taskers or from Sports Direct. Go and get yourself a pair of pads and then just call yourself a professional boxing trainer.
Can't you? Yeah.
It's absolutely
no regulation, really.
No regulations, no nothing. Mental. And I've seen so many fellas just come out saying, yeah, I'm a professional boxing trainer. And I look at them and I just think, oh my Lord. Like,
good luck to anyone that falls for it.
When you look at a boxing coach and you look at his body of work, you have to look past that and you have to go, right, who taught you? Where did you learn? Who did you spend time with? Because no matter how much you want to study it, and listen, I've studied boxing for years, there's only so much you can study. You've got to be around experienced people to learn from things, to be put in certain scenarios, certain situations, to learn, to go, that's the right thing to do, that's the wrong thing to do. I've seen this done the right way, I've seen this done the wrong way, and that's how you build, that's how you build a champion, and that's how you build brilliant coaching trainers through experience and through knowledge. Yeah. You can't just be reading a book and expect that book to tell you everything you've got to do to train a fighter. It's like the book will tell you, train him this way on Monday, that way on Tuesday, that way Wednesday, give him a day off Thursday, come back Friday. Now, every single individual is different. That might work for the guy who it's documented on, but that wouldn't have worked for me. I mean, by the time I got to the end of from the start of my professional boxing career, my training regime was completely different to the end of my boxing career. Now, does that suggest that which one was right, the first start or the second bit? Because at the start, I could go through anything. I was losing 3 stone a camp. I was doing insane 3 sessions a day training. Unbelievable amounts of body weight I was losing. Muscle mass I was detracting my body, but I was still able to win 12-round fights, and I was still at championship level. I was undefeated up until my 16th fight, winning British and Commonwealth titles. But my training regime and the way I was doing it was an absolute shit show. Yes. I paid no attention to the finer details. I was going into fights with absolutely no game plan. Yeah. And just getting through purely on my ability.
It's on your instincts.
And instincts. And then when I came back to Rotunda, it was like I addressed things differently. I went back to basics with footwork, stuff like that. So was that the way to use it? And then when the last third of my career, or the second half of my career, I went to cruiserweight and went with Dave Caldwell. Everything changed. I then didn't train 5 days a week. I punched 4 days a week. And I would do cardio, like hard cardio on S&C 3 days a week. So, but I know that doesn't make sense because but I'd still have a day off.
Yeah.
So even though you do 7 sessions, there'll obviously be a day where I'd be doing 2. So I'd box and do strength and condition on one of them days.
Right. So it was more structured to it rather than
it was more structured to it. The diet was perfect. And as different things came into play, my body learned to cope more. And I was training less, but getting fitter. Okay. And that is down to the experience and having a brilliant coach like Dave Caldwell. Like Dave Caldwell, he understood and knew my body because guess what? He'd been around the likes of Brendan Ingle and the Ingles gym. He'd been a fighter himself, which I'm not saying every trainer has to be a fighter, but it does help because they know what you're going through. Yeah. They know when you're tired, they know when you're not. And then he'd gone from the Ingles and then spent time with Adam Bood and David Hay, being around that camp. So then he started training fighters, trained Kell Brook, trained Ryan Rhodes, trained numerous fighters. When I went to Dave Caldwell and said to him, I want you to train me, he wasn't training fighters no more. He'd retired from boxing.
Right, so
from training fights. So I dragged him back out and said to him, I knew he was a brilliant coach, I knew he was a good trainer. And I say we lived and went to the highest of highs out of them all. But it was only because I was in a place where I knew my body better. I was with a coach who understood and knew me and knew what your body could do. Because once you're at 30 years of age, you're in decline.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Once you're at 30, everyone's got this thing of, you know, you've got to be living the absolute perfect life to still be going that way at 30.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for me, I didn't live the perfect life.
Not many of us can say that we
do.
No,
very few do. It's like looking at professional footballers today. They're allowed to go that bit longer. The likes of Mo Salah, being whatever age he is, he's going to keep going like that until he's about 36, 37.
He's never drank, never smoked.
He lives the absolute perfect paramount life. Cristiano Ronaldo's the same.
Yeah.
And these are the... Now, for fighters who aren't, for fighters and professional athletes who aren't living that life, once you're at 30, it's like, there, stop. There, and it starts going down. So you've got to be with a person who knows your body, understands it. And I think for me, I was very fortunate.
Prolonged your career by meeting him, Good stuff. Right, well, we nearly time to wrap it up, but let's talk about Everton briefly. It's been a very up and down season for Everton. There's been some great wins, some great performances, but also some, quite disappointing ones. FA Cup at the weekend being one.
Disappointments.
3 dismal penalties, to be honest.
Yes, not very good.
No, not very good, but
you could tell they never practice penalties, but listen, it's one of them things. I was gutted. I wanted a good cup run, but things do look up in the league.
Definitely,
I think there will be some acquisitions that come in this period now.
That's going to be my next question. Ben White has been a rumoured player, Arsenal defender, centre-back, right-back. Someone you think it would fit in well. Doesn't play for the national team, which is...
Fits in perfectly well.
Does, good.
But listen, you've got the likes of Julian Timber ahead of you. It's very hard. That kid's a top player.
Yes, brilliant.
And then Arsenal have got cover all over the place. So that would be a brilliant acquisition, but we'll see. There's a number of players who Everton are linked with. I really feel for the lads up top, for Beto and Baddy. Tierno and Beto, really good lads, trying their best, trying their hardest. Their actual numbers off the ball are really good. They're doing everything off the ball that they need to do, especially Barry.
Very hard.
He
hard.
works hard, he puts a shift in, he gets stuck in, he wins so many headers for flick-ons and knock-ons, but there's just no one else there to knock them onto. And then ultimately, when he gets in front of goal, I don't care what anyone says, the greatest asset a striker can have is confidence. If he's got confidence, he will slot. He will be in front of goal, he will slow it down, and he will either dink it over the keeper, he will go round the keeper. But at the minute, these two have got no confidence in front of goal, and they're snapping at everything. It's just a quick snap fire shot, or the rush and the efforts that they're getting, and I really feel for them. But I think once a couple of, I mean, even the goal he scored this season, he kicks that into the floor.
Yes,
it's like
scuffed it over the
he's
thing,
just it's difficult, but
he finished one quite nicely the other day, didn't he? Kind of dinked over the keeper, didn't he?
That's the one he kicked into the floor.
Oh, did he actually?
Yeah, he kicked, if you look at it slowly, he kicks it into the floor and it bounces down and goes over the keeper.
That.
So
it looked quite a nice finish.
They're trying the best, but for Everton this season, I think we're finishing in the top 10. Massive injuries. AFCON's playing a massive part at the moment. We've got, you know, probably our best player of the last 2 seasons. We've got Itauma away there, who's playing great football over there. We've got Idrissa Gana Gueye away as well. Now we've got Keenan Dewsbury Hall, who's been an instrumental figure this season. I mean, the only people, them 3 names I've just mentioned, the only person I can think who's been on the same level as them 3 this season, week in, week out, has been James Garner. Jimmy Garner has been absolutely fantastic. He's been a revelation. All the big clubs are going to come sniffing, believe you me. He's been fantastic when the gaffer asks him to go right back, when the gaffer asks him to be central midfield, defensive midfield. He can go anywhere. He's so... He just does it. He does a great job wherever he goes, wherever he plays. Jack Grealish has been fantastic when he's been asked to.
Hasn't he? Well, I was going to say, what do you make of the red card, clapping the ref? It's a bit petulant, isn't it?
It is petulant. He knows he's made a mistake.
It's just frustrating.
But at what point are these referees just going to have a little bit of common sense and go, all the referees do go, I've booked you once, why are you doing this? The next time you do anything, if you fart on this pitch, I'm sending you off.
Well, like the 18-year-old from Man United.
It's just that's what he should have done.
He bounced the ball and he got his second yellow, didn't he?
It's like these referees are going onto the pitch and it's like they want it to be about them.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the Arsenal fans will sing that. Anthony Tate, it's all about you.
At what point does a guy sitting in a room want to scream at a referee over to a TV and go, he's pulled his hair? For fuck's sake, he's pulled his hair. You know, what's the world coming to? I mean, he jumps up in the air. It looked to me like Michael Keane was going to push him forward, but as he's pushed him forward, you've pushed and clenched your fists. If he had his hair, he'd have got at the top and pulled his head back. The guy's head doesn't come back. No. He's felt a little pull on his neck. Now, the lad whose hair he's pulled has said to him, I felt a tug on my hair. He's not saying he should be sent off. It's a big red mad drag on my hair. He's going on like he's pulled a dreadlock out of his head. It's a tiny pull, but
tug, isn't it?
It's
blown
just
out of proportion.
It is blown out of proportion, and I don't see how football is going to correct itself. I mean, the challenge on, I forget who it was on, after we received 2 red cards, the challenge that was made on Harrison Armstrong is on the back of his calf. Studs go into the back of his calf. The referee doesn't even book him. And then after that, the VAR sees it and don't even think to call a referee over to the television. And it's embarrassing, and that's what makes you furious. I think VAR is needed in football, but I believe ex-players with no affiliation to clubs before games need to be put on. I think an ex-player needs to be put in VAR and go, right, he's meant that or he hasn't meant that.
Someone who understands the game,
even if they're anonymous. But you need to definitely make sure, you know, we don't need any cop-outs doing Everton games, and we don't want, you know, Manx doing Liverpool games, things like that. So
need lower league players, maybe like
listen, just players who've got experience and have played the game. I think it would help referees massively. And this sticking to the letter of the law, and common sense has to be applied. It just has to be applied. Because if common sense doesn't get applied, you might as well just get robots. You might as well get robots on the pitch because they'll keep up with play far better than some of these referees.
That's true. AI refs could be a thing of the future. All right, final question. Fellow Scouser Paddy Pimlet, Paddy the Baddy. Yes. He's got a big title, UFC interim lightweight title fight coming up in a couple of weeks. That's it, Justin Gaethje, yeah. Any words of advice? Obviously, it's different discipline, but someone who's been there preparing for the biggest fight.
No words of advice needed. Paddy knows what he's doing. It's an exceptional, well-rounded fighter. With an exceptional ground game, which is very unheard of for the UK fighters to have. True. Paddy is has the best ground game of any of the stars that have made it to that level in the UFC from Britain before. And that for me is something that we've always lacked. Our ground game is always where we get found.
Normally we've got strikers, don't we? Like,
we've got strikers for fun. I mean, listen, we've got Michael Venom Page, who is probably one of the best strikers in the whole of the
Leon
UFC.
Edwards,
headshot, dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he's unbelievable. That knockout over Kamaru Usman will last forever.
Yeah, iconic.
And then listen, you've still got probably. I'm not sure now who is the greatest mixed martial artist. Is it Michael Bisping? Is it Leon Edwards? I think the win over Kamaru Usman, at the time Leon Edwards achieved it, puts him as the standalone. But before that, Michael Bisping and his knockout of Luke Rockhold. And the comebacks that Michael Bisping has had, you know, he's had some vicious knockouts over the years. The one to Dan Henderson, the comeback over there, the defeat of Anderson Silva against all the odds. He's time and time again, he's proved everyone wrong. This one now with Paddy, Justin Gaethje is probably the biggest puncher he's faced, without a shadow of a doubt.
Huge fight.
But I just believe that Paddy will be too much on the floor. I think he can stand up and strike with him, but I don't think he needs to. I think he needs to get this fight to the floor as fast as possible and submit Justin Gaethje. I just don't think Gaethje's on the same level as him on the floor. The wrestling might be good, but I don't think the jiu-jitsu and the things that Paddy will set him up for, he'll be able to deal with. So fingers crossed, Paddy, go and get the job done. And then what we'd all love to see is the lad have his dream fight at Anfield. I'd love nothing more than to see that.
Yeah, he's spoken about it. Yeah.
I mean, listen, him and Ilia Topuria at Anfield would just be wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
being walked
I think he has the capability to beat anyone, Paddy. And what I touched on before is what he has, that air of invincibility. I can beat anyone.
Yeah.
Because until you get dealt with for the first time, good and proper, which he's not been in the UFC yet, he's live, mate. He is dangerous, because for every second he's on his feet or every second he's in a fight, he'll believe he can win. I don't care who it's against, against anybody. So I'm wishing him all the best. I hope he does it, mate. And I think he will. Like I said, I think he'll be too much for Justin Gaethje, but it'll be very exciting while it lasts. That'll be one, and I don't usually stay up, but that'll be one I'll be staying up for.
January 24th, Vegas. We'll be staying up as well. Tony, thank you once again. Brilliant as always. Stay tuned, like, subscribe. We'll be back soon.